Alright, the All Access event is extended through January 15th because Magic Online was having issues. So I'm going to play some more Living Wits because that deck is really popular on my channel. There's not very many people actually willing to play Battle of Wits in Magic, like anywhere on YouTube. So I'm just trying to put some more videos out there of the deck. This is my take of it. It's not the best take. The best way to play Battle of Wits, if you're trying to do it, is probably to play like Teamer, play cheap spells, play like a normal mid-range deck, and then just sometimes win with Battle of Wits. I'm doing something a little different here, obviously. Also, I accidentally submitted a 13-card sideboard. So that's just going to be what it is. I've decided to stop siding in cards besides Drannith Magistrate and Inevitable Betrayal to Living End into, or to Cascade into, because they just weren't getting it done. If you watched the last few, then you kind of saw how cascading into a Kataki War's Wage or Stony Silence didn't even really beat the artifact decks. I've added some split cards. Well, this split card, Rough and Tumble. It's another good thing to go get with Gifts Ungiven. We can go get gifts packages that are guaranteed to solve any problem if we're not going for a combo win, which I found that I don't at all like ever go for a combo win with gifts. So I put 2 more Kiora, the Rising Tide in the deck. They're mismatched. That wasn't intentional. And I'm going to focus more on discarding if I can. I put an Iona in the deck. Herald of whatever this is called. Herald of Eternal Dawn. And I put the Spinewoods Armadillo in. I took out Leyline of the Guild Pact and the Scion of Dracos because you guys might have seen we went off with Scion of Draco in a game and still just lost easily. So I'm focusing just more on not cascading, more on cycling, more on getting lands in play. That's what Spinewood Armadillo does. I've added 2 more Altanac because I want to see that card do something. And it's got a secret strategy against Orcish Bowmasters, which maybe we'll get to see someday. Alright, we've won the die roll in round number 1. This guy's name is AcquireCardboard. I hear that. Actually, I should Thundering Falls because 2 of my Cascade spells are red. And only 1 of them is white. Opponent's taking 35 seconds to figure out their opening hand. That's good for me. This deck goes to time a lot. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's people being confused or Magic Online slowing down both players. I'm going to bin that. But whatever it is, I'm not complaining. Because that is the main way I get wins. Alright, they have exiled Lotus Bloom. We are playing against... Well, what are we playing against? I was going to say we're playing against Belcher, but then they played a land. Maybe it's like 1 land Belcher, but usually when they do that, their land is Mountain. Supreme Verdict looking like possible garbage in this matchup. Use the ability. And now we need a Cascade spell. I think I'll take the Bloomdust Cleric. And hopefully this is just like... I don't know what plays Lotus Bloom Hallowed Fountain. Sorry for my chair squeaking. I think after this game I'm going to run up and get a chair that doesn't make as much noise. Urza's Saga, so this is some sort of affinity deck. There's a Shardless Agent. Next turn we have discard. I'll put that in the graveyard. Next turn we have discard Atraxa. I'll pop the graveyard out so it's not doing the graveyard shuffle over there. Let's pretend to do something here. Arguable, I should have cycled last turn to get that green mana in play. There's a 5th land, that's pretty good. And we don't have white. Yeah, we have 2 white. Okay, so we can even Supreme Verdict if we need to. Put Mortuary into the graveyard. And let's just go for the win. Let's go get Moonblast. Get the Battle of Wits. The opponent makes a construct. I don't think we're going to be winning with Moon Beatdown. And they get their Lotus Bloom here. So what can the opponent do? Do they have a win? I imagine if you're playing Lotus Bloom, you probably have a win the turn it comes in. Is this might be Ad Nauseam? That's what I couldn't think of. That's Ad Nauseam. That's the deck that used to play Lotus Bloom. If we were to draw it somehow, he gets a Mox Opal, which is turned on right now. Mox Amber is not. I don't know. I don't think that Doomsday, whatever it is, what's that card called? Ad Nauseam, Modern Doomsday. I don't think it played this land. Or Hallowed Fountain. Okay, he has Urza. I think I'll certainly be blocking if he attacks with this construct. He can't make a construct yet, so we kind of have a turn. But, I mean, these things could become... They would need to become 8/8s, and then Urza attacking would do it. I shouldn't be playing around Counterspell, because Counterspell is going to counter Living End or Battle of Wits. So what's the play? He would have to produce 4 artifacts next turn to beat me. No, he wouldn't, because I have to take damage here. He would have to produce 3 artifacts next turn. These would go to 7, 14, 15. So yeah, he'd still have to make 4. I can also Supreme Verdict. Supreme Verdict can't be countered. White, white, blue, whatever. Okay. That's an annoying spell I wasn't thinking about, but he hadn't showed us any multi-face lands. And actually that was like... So we got him to use his counter on our worst spell of the 3 that we could have played. And now he can whir for 1. Can he? He could go whir for a like a Tormod's Crypt. He just gets another Lotus Bloom. 5. He has to make 2 artifacts next turn with 2 cards. Urza Saga doesn't trigger to get the artifact yet. So if these are both playable artifacts, we lose. No, we don't. If he's got 2 artifacts, these go to 7, hits me for 15. That's probably a win. Tameshi Lotus Bloom, but he can't Belcher. So, I don't know. How does he win this turn in a deck that has all these lands in it? I'm trying as hard as I can not to make noise with this chair. In fact, while the opponent is doing that, I'm going to go get a chair that doesn't make any noise. I will be back while he's having fun over there. Okay, after touching themselves for several minutes, the opponent attacks for less than lethal. So we get another turn here. It looks like. And now they need like Force of Negation. If we draw a land here... Ooh, that was a good one too. All right. Blue, green, any color. Shroudless Agent, trigger Cascade. Hopefully we don't hit Resurgent Belief. I took Resurgent Belief out. Or did I? I can't remember. All right, and we win the game. All right. I don't think I want to bring anything in. Maybe some artifact and enchantment destruction. So the problem is, like, if I bring in Collector Oof, if they make a bunch of big constructs before I have Collector Oof in play, it doesn't shut them off, and also it just doesn't shut off Urza Saga at all. Drannith Magistrate, it prevents their, like, Urza plays, but that's it. So all I'm going to do is bring in Knight of Autumn, and I'm going to take out Herald because he showed me a bounce spell. Round 2 against match 2 of round 1 against AcquireCardboard and their blue-white Tameshi deck. I'll keep this hand. This hand's pretty good. It's got a turn 3 Cascade as long as they put a creature in play and we draw a land. I guess that land does have to be untapped. I'm going to start with the Sewer. Yeah, start with the Sewer. And I'm going to Graveyard Teferi. 1, because we don't have white mana, and 2, because I just need a land. I do like Teferi against Urza Saga decks in general, though. If you can snipe an Urza Saga before they make a construct token, that's a very good play. We draw Teferi anyway, so the Thoughtseize bug is very real. Maybe I have too many tap lands in this deck. I really like the utility of Surveil, but I do need to hit land drops and use all the mana on turn 3 forward. So that might be a problem that I have with deck building, is I've just put too many. If I draw a white land next turn, though, we are off to the races. Unfortunately, we don't have a subtlety for that Emery. They probably sided into Kappa Cannoneers, so he can cast Mox Amber from his graveyard. He has another Mox Amber anyway, so he's going to have all the Mox Ambers. My graveyard's not terrific at this point. And the problem with using Reshape. So he can search for a 0, put it into play, probably get a Grafdigger's Cage. No, he just wants Lotus Bloom. If I can, do I? No, he doesn't give me the choice. All right. Whenever you cast on attack, all right. This guy's playing a pretty spicy deck. Mirran Spy, for those of you like me who've never seen this, 3 mana creature drone from Mirrored and Besiege. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may untap target creature. Okay, so he's trying to just like cast tons of spells with these Emerys and Urzas. That might be a win next turn for him somehow. Endurance would be a horrible draw. Just a fetch land would be great. Boom. But I want to get rid of those creatures over there. So what do I need to get? I've got red, black. I don't have white. I want to get white, green. I want to get Temple Garden. Pay it. And Demonic Dread. Not the best living end you'll ever see, but it shuts down his combo. And then maybe he'll spend his next turn making a construct token, which I can bounce. Oh, he gets an Emery back anyway. An Emery by itself isn't as threatening, though. Waker of Waves could be good here. I just want to put enchantments in my graveyard now and go get a Resurgent Belief with Bring to Life. Bring to Light. He plays a Mox Amber. Wish wouldn't be bad here either. Is he going to make a construct? No, he makes a Tameshi. He doesn't have any mana up, though. I think what I can do is bounce Tameshi. Scapeshift isn't what I needed. So I could go digging for another land. Or I could bounce Tameshi. That's not what I needed either. I'm going to hang back with Striped Riverwinder. He can make a construct if he wants to. If he wants to use all of his available lands right now. He could then replay a Mox Amber, so. This guy has a lot of options. It looks like he won a trophy for something too. Does anybody know what this is? 2024 Special 4? Well, I've got Birds of Paradise. And if I sound out of breath, I just carried a chair down a flight of stairs. Opponent gets Springleaf Drum. Surprised he didn't go for a Mox Opal. He replays Mox Opal. I'm surprised actually he didn't go for like a Silver Bullet artifact. He could have got a Vexing Bauble or Tormod's Crypt or a Ginger Brute or a Bonesaw. Thirsty Shimi, I can't counter it. And I think what I'm going to do is just let him do his thing and we'll see if we win or lose. Okay, the opponent passed it back to us with a bunch of creatures in play. And we draw Valakut. Not the land we wanted, but it is a land. Oh, geez. And now since I've already played a land, what do I want to do? I could Waker of Waves, look for a Force of Negation. I don't really think that even does anything at this point. So which of his cards do I want to bounce? I think I want to bounce Tameshi. That's the most expensive and it does the least when it enters play. And he forces. Okay, opponent's got one turn to go wild. Okay, after putting a Paradox Engine into play, the opponent passes the turn. So they've probably got a big combo next turn. And I don't think I can stop it. Scapeshift doesn't do anything here. I think I start by cycling the Troll to get a swamp. I'll just get a basic swamp. And I will channel with the Waker on my turn to see if I get anything. There's a Wish. I'll take that Wish. I'll leave Mystical Dispute up to counter a blue spell. No, I will not attack. Alright, and we'll do the same thing we've been doing when our opponent has their turn, which is absolutely nothing, except if they cast a blue spell, we will try to Mystical it. Alright, I'll try to counter this Reshape. Can they make enough mana? I think they can. 1, 2. No, I think they can only make 2 mana. Oh no. And after 25 minutes of touching themselves, our opponent times out in game 2. 1-0. See you in the next round. Round number 2 with Living Battle of Wits. We won the die roll, which is absolutely critical. This hand is slow. Doesn't do anything until turn 5, and even then it might not be enough, but I'm going to keep. Start with the Archive. I like to protect Valakut's. 1, so our opponent doesn't play around it, and 2, so it doesn't get like Field of Ruin. I'll put the Troll in the graveyard. I don't need more lands. I need just spells at this point. Troll is a spell, but you know what I mean. I'm going to hang on to the Street Wraith as well. Sometimes your life total matters, and if we naturally draw into the Cascade, then saving that 2 life sometimes matters a lot. But really, that's more when like there's burn decks in the format. Although I would consider like Phoenix to be basically a burn deck against me. Prismatic Vista. Alright, I'm going to see what I need to get here. Well, I guess I'm going to take 4 from Street Wraith after getting on a soapbox about how much I'm not going to take from Street Wraith. I'll play the Misty and get another Surveil land here. We have red. We have all of our colors if I get a Hedge Maze. Looks like our opponent is playing Yawgmoth. If I had to guess, they've played 2 black-green lands. They get a Stomping Ground, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're playing a heavy red deck. And these base green decks can be pretty good against us because Endurance gets us at instant speed pretty hard. There's a Utopia Sprawl. I'll see if I can get a Force of Negation for that. Also, just drawing Ardent Plea is really sick. Utopia Sprawl resolves. Boy, am I glad I cycled before fetching. Dragon Tempest. Enchantment. Whenever creature you control with flying enters, it gains haste. Whenever dragon you control enters, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of dragons you control. Alright. We are playing against some brews. Which I'm all for. Because I don't enjoy losing to Mox Opals and Faithless Lootings. So I want to get a Hedge Maze, as I earlier said. Surveil. Put the Foundry into the graveyard. We don't need that. I wonder if he's got some sort of combo win next turn that we should... Well, if he's got the win next... I don't think saving Ardent Plea to try to get some dragons is a good idea because they have haste. There's a Prismatic Vista. I'm going to preserve my life total... Or sorry, there's a Charlotte's Agent. I'm going to preserve my life total with Prismatic Vista. And go get a Swamp here. I could cast either of my Cascade spells with Swamp. And let's just hope we don't hit that Resurgent Belief that's hanging out in our deck. If we hit it, then Ardent Plea is guaranteed to be good. But I don't want to give our opponent any time that we don't have to give them. They do have a Swamp in play, so double Street Wraith's pretty solid too. No Endurance. Nice. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. They have to remove a creature or win. Or produce a blocker. And we do have a flyer too. In case a dragon enters and can attack us this turn. And plays Sarkhan. I don't think he can ultimate it this turn. He would need like a doubling season or something, and even then. Okay, he rummages. No, he doesn't. You may discard a card if you do draw a card. He doesn't do anything. Do we just have a free win here? All right, so our opponent is on tribal cards that reference dragons. So this hand is sketchy as heck, but I'm going to keep it. Our opponent's deck was pretty slow last game. We might, if we could get to a turn 5 Archangel of Doom, we might just be able to play it and win. We also have Battle of Wits, which is a card that we're interested in having in our hand most of the time. We do need some lands. Start with a Hedge Maze. Ardent Plea is not the worst either. I will bin the Turtle. He didn't play any creatures last game, and Turtle doesn't bounce enchantments. And we need lands. We do have the green mana for Spike Feeder. So I think what I'll do with this Windswept Heath is go get a Triome that makes blue and white, so probably, or green and white. So probably like white, blue, red if I have that Triome. I think I do. No, that's not green. I would need like white, green, something. There's a Lotus Cobra. That's laughably bad in the face of our Fire Ice. So I think, never mind. We're just going to fire the Lotus Cobra. I know we could Dagon it. Actually, I think that's a better use of our card. Okay, so darn it. Well, I goofed there. I got the wrong colors. So what I'll do now is tap fire. I can't fire him. I have to ice. Tap the green. Oops. Sorry guys, it's midnight here where I am. I guess it doesn't matter where I am because you're watching on YouTube. But I just found out they were doing this event, and I only have until the 15th, and work is picking up. So this is pretty much my last chance to record on the weekend. So Lotus Cobra is pretty good in the face of people that don't play removal because they forgot what land to get. And now we're like, we do have Ardent Plea. So maybe he'll commit to the board here. I should have got Stomping Ground last turn. Or Sacred Foundry. I think Sacred Foundry is what I meant to get. The opponent forgets to attack. Force Negation is not bad. So we will Ardent Plea. Which fortunately we are able to cast. And now on his turn we can force something. Unless I hit the Resurgent Belief. We hit Resurgent Belief, but that at least gets us Sky Turtle. If you've ever seen a game go this wrong, press 1, I guess. Or tell me about it in the comments. That pressing 1 isn't very interesting in the YouTube comment section. So he does have to produce a flyer, or we can take out the Sarkhan. So what I want to do here is start by attacking Sarkhan. And this is Sarkhan the Fireblood, not Sarkhan Vol. I think, which one did this come out in? That's an M19 Sarkhan. I'm thinking of the Khans of Tarkir one. That makes a... He probably wants the Khans of Tarkir one that makes a dragon. That one seems better. What I'm going to do here is get the correct land this time, which is a red-white land. And dead the Lotus Cobra. So I want Sacred Foundry. Pay the life. Dead the Cobra for red mana. and Spike Feeder. Now any untapped land gets us Archangel next turn, which will be the first time in many, many leagues that I'll actually get to use the Archangel combo. We have to resist the urge to end our own Spike Feeder. Kessig Wolf Run. I used to play that card in Living End. I think Raging Ravine is slightly better, having played both of them now. There's Sarkhan the Fireblood again. I really think he should be, if he's going to play a 5-mana Sarkhan, he should play the one that makes a dragon. Like this one makes 4 5/5 dragons, but the other one makes a dragon just on the turn you play it. But it's his deck. I'm not going to tell him what to do. He's got Sarkhan Fireblood. I've got 220 cards in my library. Land here would be swell. Striped Riverwinder is not what we wanted. I will cycle to look for a land, and that was our last blue mana for the turn. Cure is not the worst. It's not that good, but it's not the worst. Going to attack Sarkhan with that, and Burns, which is a great name, with the Spike Feeder. Should I have aggroed a little harder? I mean, this wasn't really threatening us. It is a Planeswalker, though, and I've traumatized myself many times in the past by not attacking Planeswalkers when I could have. I once played a game of Standard, back when Mono Black Devotion was the boogeyman in Standard, where I was playing Junk, and on like turn 3 I played the wrong land. And that led me down a series of events where I ultimated a Johnny that gains 100 life, and I still lost. Because I was on the back foot like the whole game. Somehow, but I was still plussing the Ajani. Gained 100 life, the opponent just shrugged and won anyway. With damage. Okay, they have 6 mana over there. And now if I were to Kiora into a Cascade spell, I can discard Archangel, end my own Spike Feeder, and then Cascade on a future turn into the combo. He Abrupt Decay Spike Feeder. Of all the targets for Abrupt Decay, that is one of them. Alright. He plays the card that... It's like the opposite of Cram Session. The card that is 2 mana, gain 4 life, learn. That was 2 mana, opponent gains 4 life, and you discard a card. And I guess a killer creature. There's the Lush Portico. Or Portico. Put the Stomping Ground in the graveyard. Cure the Rising Tide. Leaving up in red mana for some reason. Bin Armadillo Riverwinder. Because next turn I can play Archangel, and I have a feeling he might have a hard time dealing with that card. Trigger Ardent Plea. Hit the opponent for 7. I'm not doing anything. What did this guy spend all his cards on? Like, the game's gone on for a long time, and he's got very little to show for it. All right, 2-0 with Battle of Wits, Living End. See you in round 3. Round 3 with Modern Pile of Wits. We have lost the die roll, and we're going to keep this hand. Polluted Delta. Is this Frogtide the best deck in Modern? Magic Online saw we were winning too much, and they sent Polluted Delta player to punish us. Put an end to that. And we will start the game by confusing the crap out of our opponent by Benny the Young Pyromancer. I'm not going to F6 through their turn because if they play a Frog, I'm going to try to subtle to it. Frog runs away with games so fast. I want them to respend their mana casting Frog so I can Teferi it. I'm just going to cycle now so I don't forget. Okay. We're pretty boned. Opponent can do whatever they want. We can't even use this Endurance yet. There's the Frog. I'm going to use Wooded Foothills to get green-black Overgrown Tomb. I don't have Overgrown Tomb. Alright, do I have a black land I can get? No. Okay, that's an oversight. I need an Overgrown Tomb in this deck. I guess I get the Mortuary. What land do I have in play? I've got Meticulous Archive in play. Okay. Put the Armadillo in the graveyard. It puts the Armadillo in the graveyard. We don't even have a green card to pitch to this Endurance either. When you have Endurance... Oh, they're playing... Yeah, they just have alternate fetch lands. Just do this now. I know this is bad timing. I don't care. Alright. A little bit late to the party there. Search for tomorrow. Opponent hits us with Frog. So whatever we do here is likely getting countered. But I'm still going to leave up Misty and pass the turn. This also begs the question if we should be upkeep Endurancing them. And I think the answer is yes. They either have the other sewers in hand or they're only playing one. And the reason I'm doing this, we don't actually need the land. We do need to keep them below 6 cards in their graveyard. As bad as it feels, I should have just cast it, though. But now this looks like I'm holding up Counterspell. Or something. So that was pretty terrible. But they can't cast an Oculus now. Or Murktide Regent. They do have another fetch land. And we're exposed. That was a bad play. This is the best deck in Modern, though, so I'm not going to beat myself up over losing to it. Let's go get some sort of red tap surveil land. Let's get Thundering Falls. And graveyard that. That's never resolving if I cast it. Cycle Glass Dust Hulk. Start by surveilling. Yeah, Force Negation is bad against this deck. And I'm just going to try to Fairy here. It's not going to resolve, and then I'm going to concede the game. Opponent has Force. That did cost them 2 cards. I guess I'll play one more turn. Opponent draws with Frog. We go to 8. And we need to draw something good here. Striped Riverwinder was not it. I'm going to try to cycle into something. Alright. What can he have here that would make me want to play this land first? Nothing. Let's just hope Demonic Dread works. The only mana taxing effect that I would be scared of would be like a Spell Pierce or Mystical. And those cost more than I could pay. And we'll watch this get countered, and then we'll scoop. Alright, there we go. Alright. We have no chance to beat this deck. This is the best deck in Modern. It doesn't really even require that much skill to play with because I was able to 5-0 the league with that deck. And the problem is, as much as I want to take out our Force of Negations, I don't have anything to bring in, so we resubmit. We've won the Game 2 die roll by virtue of our performance in Game 1. And there's like the one card I don't want to draw in this matchup, Force of Negation. But we do have lands, red lands for Seasoned Pyromancer. So I'm going to start by getting Surveillant. The reason Force of Negation is bad is because they don't cast any good instants and sorceries on their turn normally. Let's see. What do I want first? I think the first thing I want is Hedge Maze. Don't need any more lands. At least I can discard it. Did not need a Sacred Foundry. Opponent's playing Dark Slick Shores, which is not what I'm used to seeing, but I think it's fine. Yep, this is just classic blue-black frog Murktide. If they go for a frog here, I'll cycle Architects and try to Subtlety. They do nothing, which is good. Let's go ahead and cycle Architects. Okay. Let's go get... We need to get a red here. I will get red. We already have Thundering Falls, right? No. I'll get Thundering Falls. We don't have double green. I'll put that in the graveyard. That was bad. I would like to draw an Endurance, even though I can't play it. Battle of Wits could do something. Play the Foundry. And go for a Seasoned Pyromancer. This probably baits out a removal spell. Or a counter spell. No, it doesn't. Okay, they respect the rest of our deck enough not to counter that. I'm going to discard Force Grave. Okay, we've got things to do. All of his creatures have evasion, so making extra tokens to block doesn't really matter. Now, if he goes for like a persist, yeah, we'll be punished. I would generally board out of graveyard recursion in games 2 and 3 when I play with this deck. Okay, it looks like he's just holding up interaction until he can cast like a Frog or a Murktide or an Oculus. I'm going to Parlor here and not cast anything, leaving up Sky. Oh. Graveyard. Start by attacking. We'll see if that does anything. It does not. I'm going to play Teferi. We have a barrage of spells to throw at him to see if we can run him out of counter magic. And Sky Turtle can save us from an Oculus. He has to counter this. Yep, there's the counter spell. Now we find out how many Surveil lands he has in his deck. 1. I disagree. I think you want 2 or 3. Bin's a Murktide regent, and he has a Psychic Frog already in the graveyard. If he's looked at our deck size, he should know we're up to Battle of Wits. So Thoughtseize would be decent against us, but I, in general, don't like Thoughtseize in this deck. But he's playing a little bit of a brew. His name is Jsbout. J-S-B-O-U-T. Jsbout time. His avatar looks like a gauntlet. Okay. Uses a card to unearth the Frog. We can bounce that with Sky Turtle. Not the best target for Sky Turtle. I'd rather get like an Oculus after he exiled a bunch of cards from his graveyard. So what I'm going to do is play this tapped. Go to his turn. Let him see what he wants to do. I can do 2 things on his next turn. I can bounce Frog. And I think I'll bounce Frog in combat to tempt him to replay it. Gotta leave it blue mana for Architects. Bring to Light can only get 4 colors right now. He discards Oculus because it's his last chance. And he unearths the Oculus. Let's see if we can hit another Force of Negation for that. Darn. Well, Mystical wouldn't have done it. Never mind. Land here is not bad because then next turn if we draw another land we can Scapeshift land. I'm going to go for Battle of Wits. because I have Mystical Dispute back up. So hopefully he's got one counterspell for this. And because Bring to Light gets better with more lands, whereas Battle of Wits doesn't. There's a Spell Pierce. Hopefully that's all he's got. This does bait out 2 counterspells either way. And then hopefully Bring to Light next turn will get the win. Okay, we 3 for 2'd. I think that was pretty good for us. We didn't win, but we did get 2 cards out of his hand, and he does not have Frog in play to refill his hand. No attacks. There's a Bowmasters. Who cares? Why didn't Bowmasters make a token? How did Bowmasters enter play? Oh, he just turned it up. Okay. I thought he cast it. He goes for Frog here, I think. Oh no, he goes for Murktide Regent. Alright, land into a Bring to Light. Could win the game. Bring to Light into... Because of Force of Negation, we no longer have a Battle of Wits in our graveyard. He doesn't have any creatures. He's got 1 creature in his graveyard. But in general, my graveyard's way better. So Bring to Light for Living End could also be good. Shatterstorm is not it. Green, white, blue, red. Yeah. Okay, he has a counterspell. And he's got lethal flyers. Alright. See you in round 4. Round 4 here with Dank Battle of Wits. This hand could conceivably beat somebody whose dog was playing for them, so I will keep it. And our opponent's name is 221B. Alright, there's a turn 1 Urza Saga, so we're not going to have time to get it with Teferi, but it will be gone, hopefully, before they can make too many constructs. I don't want to take a lot of damage, so I'm going to start with the Power Roar. And put the Misty in the graveyard. Alright, opponent has Urza Saga, Misty Rainforest. I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm just going to play the Triumph and pass. This is a Forest Island Mountain. So I've got every color but black. Okay, opponent plays Aftermath Analyst using Echoing Depths to copy Urza Saga. So the question is, what do I bounce next turn with this Teferi? I think I bounce Aftermath Analyst. 1, 2, they can make 4 mana. Guess I Temple Garden, pay the 2, Teferi. Bounce the Analyst. And going to Scapeshift range kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Okay, opponent hasn't won the game yet, so we go to our turn. I think I need to bounce something with Otawara. Problem is they have a Primeval Titan in their graveyard. I will Flooded Strand here. Plus Teferi. I think I need to bounce that Aftermath Analyst because he can use this ability, get all land cards, which would get him Misty, Crumbling, Urza Saga, Lotus Field. That's bad. Vesuva, Urza's Cave. Yeah, we have to bounce Otawara, and we have to do it on our turn. Is there a color I need in particular? No, I'll just get Breeding Pool. Pay the 2. Not Battle of Wits. Otawara. The Analyst. And now, once again, I will return if we get another turn. Okay, our opponent did it with 11 minutes left to win games 2 and maybe 3. And I think the worst card in the deck is Iona. Actually, probably should have left Iona in the deck because I could unbarrel rights, and then they can't cast Primeval Titan if they don't have one in play yet. A little bit of a punt there. I'm not sure if it will matter, but this is a good hand, so I'm going to keep. It doesn't do anything, but we can make some lands. Maybe cast a spell. And I'm going to Hedge Maze, looking for another land. It doesn't matter what color, we just need lands. We have Generous Ent to fix our mana. Surveil. I don't need to bring to light yet. I think I'm going to start using Waker of Waves as soon as possible to dig for Endurances, because Endurance could blow them out. So I'll play the island here and pass. Sky Turtle's not the worst. It's one of the worst, but it's not the worst. I think the worst card we could have drawn would have been like something horrible, like Loathsome Catabalipus, Foundry Street Denizen, Battle of Wits. Cards like that would have been worse. There's an Amulet. I'll search for a force here. I want a force or a endurance. I got neither. I'll take Fable. Go to my turn. Generous Ent for a Stomping Ground. Actually, no. I want Stomping Ground. And the reason I want Stomping Ground is because I want to use Waker of Waves to get some kind of interaction. Echoing Depths, it's just a straight up didn't copy anything. He's bogging me. Get Graveyard bogged. It's like height mogging somebody, but graveyard bogging somebody. I don't know. Well, I'm kind of hoping we win on time again. Go for a refill of the graveyard here. I'll take the Misty. And now I'm going to see what I draw. Subtlety is not bad. Start with the Mirror Breaker Fable. Subtlety was actually a pretty good draw. Make our token so we can start attacking them. Opponent has to do something. The good thing is Subtlety doesn't counter. I think I want to use Misty for a Watery Grave if I have such a card in my deck. But I don't need the black mana. If I did have the black mana, I could just cast Architects of Will and try to ruin the top of our opponent's library. But that's only like a temporary solution. They're shifting Wildlands. I wish I had Fulmin Intermage or Beseiju. Well, I have Beseiju, but it's not in my hand. He doesn't have anything to copy yet with Shifting Wildblood. And he doesn't have Delirium either. I think any creature here I would Subtlety. Get a Sewer, Undercity Sewer. Actually, I'll get the Watery Grave. Pay the 2 and cycle. Endurance was a great draw. I'm going to discard Vantasar and Misty. I'll cycle the Street Wraith to try to hit a land naturally. I'll Force Cycle, or Island Cycle. Do I have green? Yes, I've got Stomping Ground Hedge Maze, so I already have 2 green. I don't need more green. I suppose in that case, I will get the Archive. Actually, I'm just going to get Snow-Covered Island and play it. That's not the most exciting draw, or most exciting play. But it leaves up. I have a treasure too. I have Subtlety and Endurance now. So this next turn shouldn't go that bad for me. And if I'm able to get Subtlety or Endurance and play with Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, when it flips, I'll be able to just on demand copy a Subtlety or an Endurance, which would be pretty swell. What's our opponent doing over there? There's a Primeval Titan. Going to Subtlety that. So Treasure doesn't actually help with our land count for Scapeshift. I'm going to cycle Glass Tusk, see if I can hit a land. I can't. Attack with Buddy. And then what I think I'm going to do is... Do we know about a bounce land in our opponent's hand? So if I were to swap my graveyard for my library, or for my battlefield, would that be better for me? I'm going to do this now, see if I can draw something good. I guess I'll take Shardless Agent, Waker, Glass Dust. So our opponent would have to win next turn. But I also have Channel bouncing Primeval Titan. So I think what I'll do is ice the woodlands. And I still have pitch endurance up. Odawara is a good draw too. Okay, he's got the double green. There's the specialist, but I can endurance. And I can wait until he uses that ability. He gets land, 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 so he's not near delirium. And now reflection is threatening to just make subtleties at will. I'm going to play the breeding pool, pay the life, and then attack with these two creatures. And now actually what I think I'll do is bounce the Aftermath. Because I have enough treasures I can pay for instant speed endurance and Odawara. And I can end step make another subtlety anyway, if I don't end up doing that. There's the Amulet trigger. Opponent gets Summoner's Pact. Can't do anything about that yet. He gets Arboreal Grazer. I don't care about that. Still does not have Delirium. I am going to subtlety that. And I still have Odawara up for Primeval Titan. What did he get? He got Arboreal Grazer anyway, so he has the Titan in hand. It can't be countered, but I can bounce it before it can attack me. So he's banking on giving this thing haste and attacking. He gives it haste. Beginning of combat. Bounce it. All right, we win the game. He probably actually could have won that game. I want to put Iona back. I want to bring in anything else. Or take out anything else. Each creature without playing. That's terrible. This hand's got so many good cards. It's amazing how it could be bad, but we got to send that back. Our whole game plan... Oh, there's a living end. Knight of Autumn. Well, I'm going to keep this. Put back living end. And hope that we hit that third land for Knight of Autumn. To take out, hopefully, an Amulet. Starts with Urza Saga. Well, there's the Amulet. So, opponent might just get us. They have like a really slow kill that involves like putting a bunch of lands from the graveyard into play. And then they got a fast kill, which is just Primeval Titan. Yes, I'll pay 2 life. And then I will Swamp Cycle. Actually, no, not yet. Hopefully I can draw some sort of... I'm just going to do this now. Hopefully I can draw some sort of free interaction. There's our third land. And there's a swamp too. So I think what we do now is we Swamp Cycle for Mortuary. Play the Mortuary. And then we have Knight of Autumn mana. Opponent has Spelunking. This is looking really bad for us. They're unfortunately going to get a win here after playing really slow in the first game. And unless they just have nothing, I don't think we have a chance. They can play Aftermath Analyst or the 1 mana reach guy. They can do all sorts of stuff here. Yeah, there's Aftermath Analyst. That's not good. Endurance would be a great draw. We could pitch this Atraxa. What if the Hells isn't what I wanted to see? But we have all of our lands now. So I'm actually going to cycle. Play What If Foothills. Go get Breeding Pool. Pay the 2. Cycle Curator. I know it's the wrong time for this, but we're in such a bad spot. I just want the game to end. All right. That's a creature can't cast. I guess Aftermath Specialist or Aftermath Analyst isn't the most threatening card right now. They can go get another Amulet of Vinegar. So opponent's probably got to win here. They have 6 mana. Just another Aftermath. They opted not... Well, yeah, they couldn't play their bounce land. So, Stomping Ground. What does Stomping Ground accomplish? Need to play the Godless Shrine. Cast Autism. No, I didn't need to play the Godless Shrine. I could have played the Stomping Ground. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. I'll take out one of the amulets. Hopefully this slows them down. I don't think it does. They already have Lotus Field, Urza Saga, Bajuka Bog, Vesuva. They can make 2 Lotus Fields, which should be plenty enough for a win. They're going to combat. They don't feel like comboing yet. I'll just chump block. I'm crazy. There's a Beseiju. That's really good. That is incredibly good. So now, he doesn't get to pick up lands. In his upkeep, I'm just going to Swamp Cycle now, too. I guess I should have done that before. I'm going to get Basic Swamp. Blue, yeah, Basic Swamp. What are you doing in my swamp? And then on his upkeep, I'm going to Beseiju Amulet of Vinegar. And then we'll just see what he can do. I'll be back in a minute to see if the opponent has won. Okay, opponent only hits us to 3. They can Scapeshift here, though. They get another Primeval Titan. They got 14 seconds to deal 3 damage. Can they do it? They get Forest Beseiju. Okay, I think I've got it. I'll play Raucous Theater. Put into the graveyard. And then they have to pay for this pact. Gone. Cast Gone. Target the Primeval Titan. No, cast the one that's actually Primeval Titan. Gone. Opponent has 2 seconds left. Yeah, Gone's the one I want to cast. Red. Bounce Primeval Titan. And the opponent times out. We're all so happy that we won that game. And I'll keep this hand. Hopefully we can mill a land here with this archive that we can use Ultimac to get back. If I sound out of breath, I was just doing some exercise to kill time while waiting for a round. Play the archive. And unlike most games where you need lands, you want to draw it. I'm going to bin that. Gives away what we're doing, but... Well, does it? Does it really give away what we're doing? You tell me. The answer is no. There's Devourer of Destiny. Hopefully it's a slow Eldrazi's hand. The problem with Drowner of Destiny is it can just straight up exile Battle of Wits. Fetch land would be great. Boom. Let's actually just use it to get green-red. I like that. No, I like red-black because I have green. Do I have a Blood Crypt? Well, no, I don't have a Blood Crypt. And I need green for Ultimac, so I need a Stomping Ground. Yes. And we'll just go to our opponent's turn. I really don't like playing against this Eldrazi deck. Hopefully it's just the kind that wins fast and not the really slow one that I played against in the last Merfolk video. At least the one that wins fast won't bore me to death. But I'm going to start editing out the really crappy games that aren't enjoyable to watch. So you guys don't need to worry too much about that. Hopefully I can get this video down around an hour to an hour and a half. Those 2 timeout matches, I'm just going to skip way ahead. And our opponent's name is Wayward Sun. There's a Chalice on 0. We don't necessarily need to do anything about that. 1, we have Gifts Ungiven, which is great against Chalice. And 2, we have Battle of Wits. Although our opponent has Devourer. Let's go get Ultimate into the party. And by into the party, I mean the graveyard. The graveyard is the party. There's a Seasoned Pyromancer. What do I want to do? I really want to draw my final hand. So I'm going to play Champion of Wits. By final, I mean 5th. There are only 5 lands. Forest, Wooded Foothills, Stymoground, Meticulous Archive, and Steam Fence. Those are the 5 lands. Use the ability. I think I can bin Kiki Jiki and Vantisar at this point. I'll use this Wooded Foothills to try to set up an untapped land. And if we don't Battle of Wits next turn, we can at least Gifts Ungiven. Our opponent does not have the ability to Through the Breach yet. When I see Steam Vents and this Talisman of Creativity, I think they're playing a Through the Breach deck. Hope I didn't miss a land drop. I don't think I did. All of our opponents have Narcolepsy today. It's my end step. There's nothing to do. Okay, there's Eldrazi Command. Okay, yep. You already shut off my graveyard, but go ahead and exile them. He's not even making the Scions. So I think I'll go get the green-black. No, I must get blue. If I'm going to set up a win next turn, I have to get blue. Well, if I'm going to set up a Battle of Wits, I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. This costs 7. So I think I'm good on that, unless he has another soul land. So I need to get a blue land here. So I'll get red-blue. He's got his thinking cap on. Thundering Falls. Try to hit a fetch land here. Perfect. Top. Now, Unfortunately, because I'm at 16, Through the Breach Emrakul will just get me here. I would have 6 permanents, but unfortunately I just can't do anything about that. I'm going to go get an island and play Battle of Wits. I'm not going to attack. In case he has some sort of huge Through the Breach thing that doesn't have flying. Our opponent apparently didn't get the news that they fixed the lag on Magic Online because they're lagging like crazy. Opponent casts Eldrazi command, drawing and creating the token. So they're digging for an Emrakul or a Through the Breach, it looks like. It's not Temur Eldrazi, it just looks like regular Through the Breach Eldrazi. Which I guess isn't that regular, considering the history of Modern, but that's what they're doing now. Because Emrakul has flying, and because we're going to have 7 permanents, so the Annihilator 6 wouldn't kill us, but the flying 15 power creature will. No attack. Hopefully they just have something silly like Sire of 7 Deaths. Or like Ulamog. Well, no, not Ulamog. That would kill 2 things. Oh, he can... Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can... Gifts Ungiven. Sorry, he can Devourer of Destiny, take out Battle of Wits. Unfortunate. That should be illegal. It is a crime. Is our opponent talking to us? No, of course not. Okay. That didn't go as bad as it could have. The problem is we don't have... If we answer this Chalice, we don't also have... Play the land. We don't also have a way to cascade. Don't need that. Drawing with Season Pyromancer isn't that good. I'd rather have the Gifts Ungiven. I'd rather block Devourer of Destiny for a turn. What we can do is gifts for... We can just see what our opponent does and see what we need to gifts for. I do have a lot of options in my deck for things to gifts for. So many that it takes a long time to click them. It feels good we've already secured the 3-2. They have Through the Breach. What do they breach? Yeah, I'm not going to Gifts Ungiven. Okay, they have Ulamog the something or another. Annihilator X. So it's a 14/14. Haste. Ward. It doesn't have any trample, though. I'm not going to do that. That's going to take too long. I'm not going to have any lands left. All right. I'm bringing the IB. No, I don't want Tormod's Crypt. I want Knight. Take out Resurgent. Take out a Living End. Hopefully we get a fast hand here. So Rough Tumble's pretty much a dead card. It's basically a mulligan to 6. However, I will keep Swamp Forest Island. Yeah, we've got all of our colors. I mean, this is like a mulligan to 5. These 2 cards at the right on our hand don't do anything yet. We could discard them later. I'm going to start with a Zagoth Triome. And pass the turn. Guys, we're so close to the 3-2. We just need our opponent to disconnect from the game. Or no, that would give us a 4-1. Alright, we've dodged Chalice, although I don't think you should play your Chalice early. It just lets... If you're ever in a situation where you're bringing in Chalice of the Void... Oh, that was the wrong land. Or you just play Chalice of the Void against a Cascade deck. I don't believe in playing it right away. I think you should sandbag it as long as possible, because as soon as you drop a Chalice into play, they have to start making decisions about how am I going to play this game? Am I going to try to sculpt a hand that beats Chalice? Am I going to try to remove it? Am I going to try to play over it? Yeah, see, they play it on... I think this is the right time to play it. If you have it in your opening hand, wait a little bit. They're not going to Thoughtseize you. If you play it right away, they get to decide how the game goes from there. There's Iona, so we're close to casting that. We will Overlord. Hopefully get a card that lets us discard. It's like a Kiora or a Champion of Wits. Or a Season... Oh, we don't have Season Pyromancer mana. Use the ability. I will take Kiora. Nice. That's exactly what I wanted. Meticulous Archive. I'll keep that. This might be a Chalice of the Void hand that doesn't do anything. So I should have Surveilled before playing Overlord. A little bit of a punt. Didn't end up mattering. They have Eldrazi Command. They can exile 2 cards from our graveyard. Little do they know that I don't care. If they didn't have Kozilek's Command that last game, both copies of it, we would have won, I think. A little bit unfortunate. There's Through the Breach. Well, if it's an Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, the game's not over. I still have lands to play. And it goes away. That was a little bit rude, but they did use their Eldrazi's to do that. Goodbye, Emrakul. No one likes you. And we will go to our turn. Hopefully we draw land. There's that Odawara we knew about. Nice. And like I said, we're just 7 mana, 8 mana away from casting Iona. I'm just going to do this now. I don't think it matters. Let's get a green, red, a green, blue. Hedge Maze. I just want to put lands on top. I'm just thinking that like we tripped and fell down and dropped a bunch of lands and also damaged ourselves quite badly. It's just a flesh wound. There's a Null Drifter, but it doesn't even stick around. And it goes away. Goodbye, Null Drifter. Null Drifter is a pretty sweet card. I've thought about playing it. Probably should be playing it. It's probably as good as Fable, the Mirror Breaker. There's a Lush. And then now what do I want? I think I want to start digging for answers. That's a digger. That's an answer digger. I'm just a Besage You now away from getting this Chalice of the Void out of here. And then losing to a Null Drifter. Okay, yeah, so because of Null Drifter, Living End's not an answer anymore. They play Shivan Reef, immediately tap it for colorless. Oh, they play Through the Breach. They could be bluffing. So in this instance, they weren't bluffing, but they could have been. All right, good games. We got a 3-2 with Battle of Wits, which that might be like a world record. Considering I might be the only person to ever get a winning record with Battle of Wits and Living End in the deck. I'll go open this treasure chest. You guys deserve it if you're still watching. Open the chest. Boom, 25 play points, and whatever that is, the Eternal something. The Eternal Wanderer. Arbiter of Norridge. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you being here.